Hey YouTube, Raj from the UK here, back again with my sample testing video. Next up, I've got a bunch of samples which I got for free. Whenever I go into a store, usually they hand out fragrances, but if they don't, I'll always ask for fragrances. I think it's probably one of the best ways of marketing and selling a fragrance is by giving out a little sample. So I've got three here which I wanted to go through. First up is Allure Homme Sport, the Eau Extreme version from Chanel. Next is Serge Lutens Froide. I can never pronounce this right. Come on to that later. And finally is a Parfumerie Generale fragrance called Aomassai or Aomassai. Again, pronunciation, I don't know. But yeah, first up, Allure Homme Sport from Chanel, Eau Extreme. So this is one of their newer releases and is a flanker of Allure Homme Sport. If I'm honest, when I sprayed this on, I've sprayed this on only twice. So my initial impressions were, this is a completely pointless fragrance, redundant release if I'm honest. Just based on the opening notes, I thought it smelt very general. Very synthetic, it was balanced and it had a nice smell to it, but then I thought, this is a new release, this is Chanel we're talking about, this is a fairly high price tag. Is this really what they're giving, is this really what they're offering in one of their new releases? And I thought, okay, I'm going to stick with the fragrance, I don't want to judge it on just a couple of sprays, I'm not going to wash it off or anything like that, see how it develops. It then later does develop into something quite nice. Kind of reminds me of Edition Blanche, without the lemon side of things, but it's got a nice touch of cedarwood in there. And I think this is quite a reliable scent, pretty inoffensive. I think you could wear this in a lot of different occasions. And one thing I find when I'm thinking about Chanel fragrances is maybe the focus is more on the practical usage side of the fragrance rather than the quality of the fragrance itself. So we talk about like longevity and versatility and projection and things like that, but for me that's not the most important part of a fragrance. The most important part is, what does it smell like? And I'm not really talking much about that here because, yeah, there's a touch of cedarwood, there's a touch of citrus, it's nothing spectacular, there's maybe a slight sweetness coming from the tonka bean which actually makes it slightly interesting. But if I'm honest, I wouldn't buy this fragrance. I definitely wouldn't. I would probably go for the original Allure Homme. Or if I'm going to spend this sort of money, I would probably go for Edition Blanche or maybe something from Dior or something like that. You know, something in that sort of price category, that range. It's definitely a nice fragrance, and I probably will enjoy wearing this sample, but I definitely will. I can't see myself buying this. If somebody got this for me for a gift, I would be more than happy to wear this and I would enjoy it. But it's not the best fragrance I've tried, and it doesn't seem to be pushing the boundaries. Maybe that's what Chanel's aim is. They never, in their most recent releases, haven't seemed to push the boundaries too much, and are maybe focused on releasing safe scents. But it's nice. But that's it, just nice. Next up is a fairly new release from Serge Lutens. I can't get the pronunciation of this right. I think it's L'Eau Froide. Well, I'm going to say L'Eau Froide. Basically means something like cool water or frozen water, I think. So nice presentation actually with the sprayer here, and this is quite interesting because Serge Lutens have recently come out with a couple of releases which are a real departure from their main line, which are more darker, heavy hitter fragrances, I would call them. But this is quite different. This is, although it has a light touch to it, it's not as light as you may think. It opens up with not the best, fairly citrus note in there. It's a lemon note. It's not the most prominent, and it's not the best quality. And when I tried this, I thought, oh man, the idea of being disappointed from a Serge Lutens fragrance was something I've never experienced, and I don't really want to experience because I really enjoyed this house. But it started with that slightly lemon note, not the best. It then developed quickly into something actually quite enjoyable, something quite peppery. Touch of cinnamon, like a cinnamon cake almost. It then, so the main part of this fragrance is the incense note in here, and It reminds me a lot like L'Artisan Parfumeur's Timbuktu. And obviously this is a sample, I've only tried this a couple of times, but I would say that they're almost identical. So if you like L'Artisan Parfumeur's Timbuktu, you might like this one. I think this is pretty good. There are lots of incense fragrances on the market. You know, you've got your Amouages, and then maybe a slightly cheaper option is Comme des Garçons. But a nice fragrance. Not the best in the Serge Lutens house, but then it is competing against some pretty damn good ones. So yeah, still a good addition, and I'll definitely be looking forward to trying this one a little bit more. And next up is a fragrance from Parfumerie Generale called Aomassai, I think that's how you pronounce it. I got this from a place in London called Les Senteurs, the specialist perfumery it says here. And basically they give out complimentary samples when you buy some fragrances, and I went for Parfumerie Generale Aomassai because I did a sample video a couple of videos ago, and I got a couple of recommendations to try Aomassai. So this is all about, you know, the power of YouTube for me. People giving recommendations to each other, you go out and try that or buy that and love it, and it's all down to fellow YouTube reviewers and subscribers, and that's great. You know, this is all about the power of YouTube. So this fragrance is for the gourmand lovers out there, and I love it. I really, you know, Parfumerie Generale, they just keep banging out these amazing fragrances. They can do no wrong in my eyes. They are a company who does gourmand, you know, the best. They're the finest gourmand fragrances you'll probably find in the PG line. So what I get from this is it's very nutty, coming from the hazelnut, also quite coffee-like, but it's not. The coffee in here is not that strong. Really, what I get from here is a caramel, sweet vibe in here. Imagine maybe a coffee-based drink, a cold coffee-based drink, with whipped cream and hazelnut syrup in it. You know, I don't drink coffee, but I imagine there is probably some drink out there like that. This is amazing. This is really good, and it doesn't become feminine at all. This is really unisex. You've got a touch of cinnamon in there. And there's something darker in there which I can't quite identify. This is only, you know, first impressions. There's something in there which is just holding it back and making it in the middle. You know, more of a unisex thing rather than anything too feminine. Another one from Parfumerie Generale. They are an amazing house. Worth checking out. So yeah, so that's my take on a few samples I've got loads more. Some which were sent to me from other reviewers and other subscribers, which I will go through at some point in the near future. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you soon. Bye.